We're live on the owl tonight as well, folks, so.
Michael Rowe.
Mike. Yeah, we'll probably have to wait 5 minutes after 7, make sure everybody gets on. And then tomorrow we're going to have our interagency emergency operations center updates.
We have an actual Remo session in the morning.
Oh, okay.
That's a teleconference with Mike Drake.
Oh, okay. Is that just SAOs?
Yeah, just
Regional stuff?
so he'll expect update at the interagency off of that.
Okay.
Liza.
Hi, Liza.
Mark Gerlach.
Hi, Mark.
Good evening.
Yep. Kirby got you.
Mark.
Kirby? No, Mark. Yeah, we're just waiting, Mark. We're going to give it a few more minutes here.
You bet.
He sounds like Kirby on the phone.
Yeah, my voice always sounds like Todd's voice. Maybe just because we've been in the same office for 20 years.
Marie.
Hi, Mark.
Chat. Thank you. Yes, I do 40%. Kirby.
Yes.
Hi, Kirby.
Was.
And was. Who's waiting for Troy? Is it?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this Troy?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is me, Moz. Troy.
Okay, so we got everybody. Okay, well, welcome everybody to this evening's meeting. We'll call the proceedings to order here. It's 7 o'clock. Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? How about a mover?
Liza will second it.
Okay, who's moving it?
Oh, Marie.
Me, Moz.
Okay, I'll put Marie, Councillor Lafferty, and Councillor McPherson, seconds. All right. So the motion moved by Councillor Lafferty, seconded by Councillor McPherson, is that council adopts the agenda of regular meeting RM07-2020.
That should be RM07, Your Worship.
Oh, 07, sorry, RM07. As presented. Any additions or comments? All right, anybody object to adopting the agenda? No? Okay, so everyone's in favor then?
Who is in the meeting?
Everybody, we've got all the councilors are here.
8 and 1.
8 and 1, yeah. So if I don't hear anybody dissenting, then I'm putting you all down as 8 votes for, none against to adopt the agenda, and that's carried as presented. So move forward.
Mr. Mayor, before we adopt the agenda, can I have addition, please?
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to add risk payment for the employees that work sewer treatment plant and water treatment plant.
All right. Maybe I'll put that under new business 11D. risk pay. Okay. Well,
Risk incentive or risk, I don't know what you call it.
okay, yeah. Does anyone have any objections to adding that to the agenda? If not, we'll just change the motion to read that the council adopts the agenda of regular meeting RM07-2020 as amended. Yes,
You probably want to move the camera for any discussion there on that question.
okay.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's our SAO, Mr. White there is telling us that we may go in camera for any, detailed discussions about that risk pay.
For what purpose?
Well, it's it's about how we pay our employees, so it becomes an HR issue, internal HR issue. I think we probably don't want to be discussing their pay rates and things like that without going in camera. I mean, at one level, yes, it can be talked about, but if you want to get into the details of it, I think that we'd have to go in camera. But we'll see how it goes when it comes up, okay?
So what, are we putting this on in business or what?
It is under new business, 11D. And I've just listed it as risk pay.
Say that again?
11D, that would be risk pay.
11D?
11D. D is in
This?
Danny.
Okay, I don't hear it clearly.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to talk over anybody. Is anyone having Sean cut out? I'm only hearing spatters of what he's saying.
Okay.
I heard you clear as a bell, but Sean, I'm not hearing.
Okay, I am just going to move a little bit closer to the phone, okay?
Tom, may I suggest you just do a roll call and everybody will say their names to do a sound check at the same time?
That's a good idea, Deputy Mayor. Okay, so Deputy Mayor, how are you hearing me now?
Loud and clear, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Morrow, you're here. You hear me good?
Yes, I hear you well.
Okay, Councillor Rowe.
Yeah, it's much better. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor McPherson,
Yep, good.
Councillor Lafferty.
Yes, I hear you well.
Okay, Councillor Grote.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, Councillor Hassan.
Yes, good.
Councillor Bellefontaine.
Yeah, good.
And Mark, our delegate, you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Okay, we'll move ahead. Sorry about the sound issue. So having adopted the agenda, just to go over that one last time in case anybody didn't hear, we added the one item which is risk pay, and we're adding it under 11D, and we were just told by our SAO that if there's any detailed discussions involving our own employees' pay, we would probably have to take that part of the discussion in camera. Okay. Now back to our agenda. Any declarations of interest in any of the items tonight to be discussed? Hearing none, we'll move on. Councillor absences, of course, there is none. We've got a full council here this evening. And now delegations. And I would like to invite Mark Gerlach on behalf of Enbridge to make a presentation to us. He just wanted to get on the agenda to kind of clarify a little bit about some of the activities that Enbridge has going on as far as their employees and the comings and goings of perhaps out-of-town employees. Mark, you go ahead and take the floor there.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. So just to start off there, I thank you very much for allowing me these few minutes. Just to clarify that Enbridge operations do remain in normal condition. With this, we've reduced our staff to 2 in the office, the rest working from home, and that's just to abide to social distancing and, of course, keeping people out of the public in the COVID-19 scenario here. One of the items I really wanted to talk about was that we have taken and stood down all of our contractors that come out of province, i.e. Alberta, Calgary, sometimes in farther Toronto area. Those contractors have been stood down and will remain stood down. My concern was that I saw an Alberta vehicle in town the other day, and it said oil and gas on the side of it. I just want everybody to be reassured that we're not letting anybody come to work for Enbridge from out of town. Along with this, being that we cross into the Alberta side of the pipeline with the helicopter, we have taken full precautions in not stopping anywhere in Alberta other than the remote fuel bowser. So we're not attending our facilities. We have a contractor, Alberta contractor, that works that in. We're in no means contact with him. We're at a remote bowser, so we're not seeing any people, talking to any people. We're basically turning around and coming right back into the Northwest Territories without staying in Alberta. Along with that, we've taken precautions with the helicopter company that is contracted to us. The machines are disinfected each and every use. Along with this, we're using pilots and engineers that are long-term into the Northwest Territories. If any do have to come in, then in fact they're stood down with the helicopter company's procedures. So I'll just stop there if anybody has any questions, concerns, or issues.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mark?
I am Kirby here. I'm happy to hear you've got very good control of your area. Thank you very much. I appreciate, and I speak for a lot of people in the Northwest Territories. We appreciate your concerns on this crisis we have going right now, and thank you very much.
Yeah. Anybody else? And for me too, Mark, thank you very much for updating us. And, we always do know that Enbridge is a responsible company in our neighborhood here. And we do appreciate you updating us on how you're taking precautions with the COVID and the coronavirus.
We appreciate that, Honorable Mayor. Just to top it off here is the cleaning of our facilities has been doubled up just for our people, just to make sure that when we're coming out and responding back to the community, that we're also very aware of what can be done, what can be transmitted. Along with this, you do not see our company vehicles drive around town. In fact, you've probably seen us driving a lot of our personal trucks. We don't think that you need to see Enbridge trucks going around circles in town. And the last thing I have is that we do have to drop some tanks off from Alberta at Mackenzie Station. There will be tanks dropped off at Mackenzie Station. We've taken fuel and food to the truckers. They, in turn, are going to spin right around and go right back through to Alberta. The week of April 20th is scheduled for that. There is no admittance of any people into Fort Simpson Town nor Hay River other than the Alberta side of the work. So with that, that's all I have. But please reach out to me anytime if you see or you feel there's a concern. And I want to thank you all, and please be healthy and stay care.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Take care. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful meeting.
Okay, thank you. So there, we'll let Mark go. And on our agenda, adoption of minutes. We don't have any minutes this evening. Under reports, there's the mayor's report, and pretty much the one thing that I can report on is that we did do our 2 meetings last week. Of course, we didn't have a regular meeting, but we had our regional or our community interagency emergency operations center update on Thursday. We're having that every week, and we invite, businesses like Enbridge, Northern, different businesses to update us, as well as government departments, other local governments to kind of participate and share what they're doing, making sure everybody's aware of the latest procedures and things that need to be done. Also, on Tuesday, we had the update from the MACA department, which is given to all the mayors and chiefs. That too is being done on a weekly basis. And what's happening now is that questions are being submitted in advance on that, on every, I guess that wasn't on, ours are on Tuesdays, theirs are on Fridays. So on Friday, a bunch of questions were submitted in advance to the MACA department for addressing by the health department and MACA department. Basically a chance to get the answers back and give them a chance to think about it. So, if any counselors have any issues or things they want passed along, I can certainly take their questions and submit them to this weekly update by the MACA department, and we'll get those answers back to you. And we've been emailing out our minutes in short form of our EOC interagency meetings. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions on that? I'll continue to attend those, as will our SAO. And I do see that he is furthering along a lot of FYI type information every time he gets it. So with that, I'll pass it along to our SAO and let him give his report.
Nothing outstanding to report, Your Worship.
Can I ask a question? This is Moaz.
Right,
The mayor?
go ahead.
Okay, on the next meeting, I noticed that Mark just mentioned an issue that there was an Alberta license plate vehicle around the community. So I don't know how this forum is gonna intervene in these kind of situations. Do you guys have the RCMP part of the group or not? Or if these kind of things, if people notice, like he noticed that there is our Alberta license plate vehicle around. So I don't want just us to ignore seeing these kind of incidents without being addressed.
Right. Well, on Friday's territorial update with the MACA department, and they were giving it to all the chiefs and mayors, they did mention that they're having talks with a lot of their different departments and agencies to coordinate in a way to deal with what exactly you're saying, like vehicles coming in and out and people perhaps not isolating as they should or not taking directions at the border and following up. So they are developing a much more coordinated strategy, and part of it will be enforcement and following up. So on top of this, there is a website I guess you can go to report any type of what you feel might be contraventions of the public health rules. But I think this is all going to get to be a lot more stringent in the near future. And it's certainly been talked about with the MACA minister and the health minister. So we're going to keep on with those concerns for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. And I don't know if you all heard, but when I invited the SAO to update, he said there really wasn't anything in particular that we haven't already discussed.
No, most of my discussion will be with any questions and comments on the capital plan.
Okay.
Um,
Yes,
I have a question.
sure. Deputy Mayor? Go ahead.
At your meeting on Friday, which was with Maca,
Right.
did anybody report on what's happening with our ferry? Because it's going to be spring breakup, another month or so, and I think we should let our villagers know what the plan is. I know there's a news article out saying that there is restrictions put in place by Transport Canada, but the GNWT is, I think part of the restrictions are going to shut it all down, but they said it's for, they're going to put restrictions on how much people could go on the ferry and, cleaning and sanitizing type of stuff and whatnot. Did you get any report from transportation on what their plans are regarding our ferry?
No, we haven't had the Department of Transportation involved with our, I'll call it the interagency meeting that we host every Tuesday. And really it's an issue mostly that we would have a concern in our own region here. Certainly that's something we can look at, because as we approach closer to the breakup and things like that, we'll be a lot more interested in knowing how the ferry will run and what will be the procedures out there. I mean, we got to start with our emergency operations center. Pre-planning and things like that will be starting to get a little bit directed towards the annual ice breakup as well. So certainly, I think we'll start inviting the Department of Transportation to start giving updates as well, and those kind of questions can be asked.
Yeah, I think Mike is the regional coordinator, so I'm not sure, Daryl, if you would probably give him heads up to ask transportation to give us a little report at the next interagency meeting.
You have that meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, we have the regional emergency operations meeting with the regional group in the morning. So I'll bring that forward, and he may be able to update on that tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, did everybody hear that?
Okay. I'm Kirby. I'm a little simple here, and I'm a little confused in some of this stuff. Our EOC meeting on Tuesday is we can come in on that meeting with our
Yes.
existing call-in numbers. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right. Yeah, any counselor that wants to come on to that meeting can.
Okay. What about the Thursday meeting you said with the government?
Well, it had been on Thursdays, then they rearranged it to be on Fridays, but that's the territorial one, and it's hosted by MACA, and it's an update for all the chiefs, mayors, and SAOs. It seems like that's all that goes on there. They don't want to overcrowd the lines, because it seems as though there's already about 30 people on that line at once, and it starts to get kind of cumbersome, I guess, it's almost too much.
So the meeting tomorrow is what time?
What time is that?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So you'll use your same call in and passcode.
Okay.
Yeah. And really at that.
Here.
Yeah.
One more question on that as well, Sean.
Yeah.
You said that was the meeting where businesses updated you on their procedures and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Did you email Daryl to if a business wanted to be involved in that, or do we just call in this number?
Well, we had specifically invited Northern Store, partly because of the food issue, food security issue and things like that. Businesses doing activity, perhaps involving bringing people into the community, those kinds of things. It would certainly be good if they were able to update us through that EOC interagency group, because it's just a channel for all this information to flow between everybody. If we suddenly saw people from Alberta working up here doing something on a project. Certainly that would be a big concern. If we hadn't heard anything about it before, we weren't sure what business was dealing with that, or what procedures they were using, making sure everybody's safe here. So I don't know exactly how we can know which businesses we want to invite or talk to, but
Well, I would be coming on behalf of the company I work for.
okay.
So I'm just wondering if I should call in on that number, or should I email Daryl and set it up through that way?
Yeah, you can do that for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And Councillor Grote, on behalf of the chamber, I mean, I know you're a councillor too, but you can certainly be on that Tuesday meeting, kind of updating if you hear any business concerns or information that you want to pass along to us through the chamber.
Well, this becomes the whole issue on the web of information coming out. The business community definitely needs to be updated on what's going on.
Right.
And how we keep everybody updated is the big unknown right now, and where we're at.
Yeah.
But as a chamber person, I would feel fine joining that meeting. Maybe I will designate somebody else from the chamber to join beside me if they contact, rather than me sitting there with two hats, not sure which one to put on, to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, no, and that's great. That's a good idea.
Okay.
And we'll just do a roll call at the beginning of the meeting and see who we all have, right?
Yes, good with that.
Okay. All right, moving along. We've got, as I say, tabled items and old business, there's none. Committee minutes and recommendations, there's none. Under new business, we do have a few items, and I think I'm going to be needing to get a motion here, moved and seconded. Right. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the motion that council accept the operations and maintenance contribution agreement from the government of the Northwest Territories, municipal and community affairs for operation and maintenance funding in the amount of $1,794,000. Can I have a mover?
Harvey, I'll volunteer to do that.
Councillor Grote. Okay. Seconder?
And Celine, I'll second it.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Antoine? All right, I'll turn it over to SAO White to describe what is going on with that contribution agreement.
Yes, Your Worship. That agreement is, it mirrors the agreement from 2019. MACA is pushing these agreements through as quickly as they can. So they want to get those dollars flowing to the community. So we'll have that to MACA tomorrow, and they have a schedule of payments. So it's pretty much this one you just approved, and the next one same parameters. So and they are our operating grants for the year.
Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Daryl, if we should have any expenses relating to our response to this crisis, this coronavirus crisis, are we able, or has there been any discussion that we might be able to get some of that money back if we do expend any?
I think with the state of emergency having been declared, and what we're doing, and what other communities will be doing, we'll be tracking those costs. And at the end of this situation, we will be invoicing GNWT for those costs directly attributable to responding to COVID. So we are tracking, and yes, we will be following that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we work with Mike Drake as the head of that regional EMO to EOC to make sure that, you know, what we are doing is kind of within the parameters acceptable to the territorial government. We can't just do anything and charge them. It has to really fall in a fairly narrow area that supports what is already being stated by the chief health officer, chief public health officer. So, for example, the signs that we've done up, and I don't know if everybody knows about that, but that came out of our interagency EOC meetings. Is there was recommendation made that we should have signs as people come into the community, reminding them about social distancing and the importance of that during the COVID. So a couple of signs have been ordered, and I don't know what the cost is, but that certainly be passed back to the MACA department as directly being related to this emergency. And certainly if any other directly attributable costs come up, we'll be passing them along too. Okay, well, let me just ask if anybody then, if there's no other discussion about the operations and maintenance contribution agreement, if anybody's against it. Hearing nobody object, can I put everybody down as yes then? 8 in favor, none against. Motion carried. And
Sean, I think the appropriate way to deal with that is that everybody would say their name and place.
yeah, we're not really doing a roll call, but
Find a procedure.
yeah, I mean, if nobody objects, right? I just want to say that, like, to speed things up. If nobody objects, then I'm just taking it as everybody's in support. And if you aren't, shout it out. You know what I mean? I'm kind of anticipating, I suppose, that nobody would object to this type of thing. So, all right.
Point of procedure, Sean?
Yes.
I do believe you have to go around the room and catch a yes from everybody.
Okay, we could do that.
Let's not shortchange it, let's do it right.
Yeah, just because it's on the phone, I guess, and I'm never too sure if there's still the full complement of counselors online or what have you. This is a way to keep up on that. All right. Deputy Mayor, you in favor?
Yeah, this is Celine, and I'm in favor.
Okay. Councillor Morrow? Are you in favor of the contribution agreement being signed?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Okay. Councillor Rowe?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Councillor McPherson?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Councillor Lafferty?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Councillor Grote?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Councillor Hassan?
Yes.
And Councillor Bellefontaine?
Yes.
Okay, that's 8 in favor, none against. The motion is carried there.
It is $1.5 million thing.
Yeah, well, that's good because, well, as you mentioned, Councillor Grote, we don't know for sure if somebody gets cut off from the line or something like that. And this way we're covered there. So the next order of business, 11B, contribution agreement, water and sewer services. The motion reads that council accept the water and sewage contribution agreement from the Government of the Northwest Territories, Municipal and Community Affairs for water and sewage funding in the amount of $1,227,000. Can I get a mover?
Me.
I'll move it, Marie.
Okay, well, I'll put Councillor Hassan as the mover, Councillor Lafferty as the seconder. And so any discussion? Well, let me invite Councillor or our SAO to go over that one again.
Yes, again, Your Worship, the contribution agreement is similar to last year's. And again, just getting it out and getting the funds flowing to the communities. So the 1.2 is our operating grant funding from the government for water and sewer operations.
Okay, can I just ask one question, Mayor here?
Yeah.
What is there an increase in either of these pots of money over last year?
Not yet.
Okay,
They rolled them out at last year's levels, and then I believe they'll reassess.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, I'll do the roll call. Votes in favor, or just give me your vote. That's the way we'll do it. Deputy Mayor?
Yes,
Antoine?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Councillor Morrow?
Yes.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Lafferty?
Yes.
Councillor Grote?
Yes.
Councillor Hassan?
Yes.
Councillor Bellefontaine?
Yes.
Okay, that's 8 votes in favor, none against, motion's carried. And we'll be signing that contribution agreement. Now, we all got a copy of the amended 5-year capital plan. I'll invite our SAO to go over that and assist in answering any questions.
Thank you, Your Worship. Can everyone hear me?
I'll put it a little closer.
Okay. There, it should be okay now. We have made updates and amendments to the 5-year capital plan based on our awarding of the contract last week to Rose for the chip sealing. And with some of the capacity challenges that presents, we're pushing some projects out a little bit out into year 3. I'll get to that. But I wanted to, our total capital plan over the 5 years is a total of $12,826,511. And it's spread out over those 5 years. In year 1, the year we're in, you will see the chip sealing component in this year at $2.8 million.
Whereabouts are you?
I am on page 24.
24 of the package, the whole package?
Yes.
Should see on the top left of the page.
Top left side.
Say page 24 of 28. Everybody okay? Everyone sees that?
Yep.
There we are, I'm there, and finally there.
Okay. The 2.8 represents the contract arose, and 83,000 is for engineering, both in the workup of the drawings, the tender call, contract administration as we go forward. So with the ISIP funding, as we talked about, it requires us to grab an additional $574,000 from our gas tax this year. And that was not in our original breakdown. So that's putting a strain on our capacity for capital projects, which we will get through after a couple of years. But just for this year and next year, we're making some assumptions and moving forward. We've reduced the landfill budget that we're carrying we've reduced that by 100,000, and that's now at 150. We've also pulled out artificial ice, outdoor tennis courts, and insulation of the pool area in this year. And So that allows us to carry on with our projects. And we'll still be doing the majority of our upgrades to the rec center under the Small Communities Fund. And we will be, we have acquired the fire truck. We have the underground work, water and sewer upgrades that have been committed to. So that is how we have redrafted the first year. Now we go to year 2, which is 2021. So the assumption that we are making here is that the provisional items of the contract would be done next year, conditional on an ISIP approval. So I'm assuming that we will get another rollout of these projects. We will apply and we will be approved. With everything that's going on, the timings of all that are a bit uncertain, I would say, but we'll go forward with that assumption. If those...
Can I jump in and ask a quick question there, Daryl?
Sure.
Why was the installation of the pool area decided to be scrapped? It seems like that would kind of net us more savings in the long term. Was there something else that was important, like the cement loading dock or something like that?
Well, I think when we discuss the numbers in year 3, I guess it'll get to the question of, okay, when do we do these? And do we do them through an application process for funding? Because the numbers are quite a bit higher than what we had originally projected.
On the inflation?
Yes. But I'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. So is everybody comfortable with what we're doing in year 2? The biggest project is the chip sealing, phase 2.
And that's in 2021, right?
Correct.
Okay, let me clarify something here. Instead of just chatting, we have to be more specific on what we're chatting about, because it gets pretty lost when we're all dealing with phones. It's really easy to get lost. So I'm assuming you're talking about page 25 of this in the 2021 year, which I'm sure we are.
Yes.
But you're going to keep up with, let us know where you are talking about this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So is everybody at page 25?
Yes.
Okay. If I don't hear, I'll assume you're all there. And then, so 2025 is the second year of the 5-year plan, 2021. And the biggest expenditure in that year is phase 2 of the chip sealing, which is $1,658,000. And so we will make application under ISIP to fund that aspect of the project. And if everything is positive, then that's great. If we don't have confirmations by this time next year, we'll be reevaluating and trying to determine what the course of action will be.
Okay.
So this assumes a best case scenario.
SAO White, does everybody know what the second phase is? I don't know if everybody was at that
Okay.
meeting.
With respect to the chip seal tender, the tender was prepared in such a way that there were base items and provisional items. And the provisional items could be decided upon at council's discretion, solely at their discretion. The total project tender came in at $4.3 million, which is about $2 million over our application. So we had to come up with the best case plan for moving forward in a 2-phase approach. So we did award at the special meeting. the contract for 2.7, and then we will revisit the second phase of that as we go through next year.
Right. And basically what we're getting with the first phase?
We're getting full chip sealing, one application on the entire community down here on the island, as well as areas in Wild Rose and Noah Heights.
Right. So the second phase is really to come back and do the second.
Would be the
Cool.
second application, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead to year 3. Page 26, 2022. And you will see that I've moved those items, the pool insulation and the artificial ice, into those years, and again have assumed a application to ISIC on those capital projects. We do have the quote from a vendor on the pool, the insulation, same contractor who did the insulation on the fitness center, and that is the number on that quote. As well, the artificial ice. We did some research over the winter, and we talked to Yellowknife with respect to artificial ice, and got information from their rec people on the community arena facility, and their capital cost to retool their plant from I can't remember what the refrigerant was they were using, but they moved to ammonia. Their capital cost was $2 million, 1.8 to $2 million. So that's where that number comes from. The other thing with the artificial ice, we could expect an additional $150,000 in electrical costs over and above. Again, this is based on the numbers that Yellowknife provided with their experiences. So we pushed these to year 3 based on the costs and the capacity to do them earlier. The capacity to do, particularly the pool installation earlier, it becomes more of a challenge with the numbers that we have for the chip sealing. And so that's the rationale for moving them out 2 years. And again, that gives the time window as well to do applications for funding. And so that's year 3. Year 4 and year 5 are pretty quiet at this point. So your big numbers are in the first 3 years. And so I've gone through that very quickly. And I'll open the floor to any questions or comments and suggestions on moving forward.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, well, I have one. Yeah,
Everybody there?
go ahead. Maybe y'all left.
No, I just waited. I hate to be the only one that asked questions. Was hoping somebody else would come out there and maybe ask some good questions. So I'll ask this question. Where was I going to start with this question? The pool installation. How much does it cost us a year to keep that facility?
Just the
heat and electric, just the heat?
No, heat.
Just heat. Just one sec.
he just went in the next room to pull that up for you there, Councillor Grote.
He ran away.
Yeah, you scared him out of the room.
Yeah, but, Sean, how do we know that we're gonna even be opening up the pool this summer? The rate of, what's going on with that virus.
Yeah,
Heating costs last year in the pool and fitness center building were $52,000.
52,000, okay.
do we heat it in any time when it's, into the late fall, or how long do we heat it?
They're basically
Heated,
they keep it filled up
Oh.
all year.
okay,
And then because there's always a fitness center usage
right,
within the building, so it's always pulling, there's always a heat.
lost.
Yeah.
But if I went into the pool, would it feel cold or warm?
I don't know how they zone it, but I'm gonna say it's cooler in the pool side,
But not freezing cold?
but not freezing, no.
Okay,
But what I'm getting at here is that is a metal roof with no insulation in there to speak of. And to wait 3 years to throw the insulation in there is costing us a lot of heat, because if we wait 3 years because we can't afford to heat it, that makes no sense. We can't afford not to insulate it. So I know gas is going down in price, but I'm thinking that cost should be up and something else should be put down. I quit right now.
okay,
These delays are in fact 2 years. They would happen in 2022. It's just year 3 of our capital plan. So we're just looking 2 years out.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
What I was going to bring up is when we opened up for me, to have a chat, was I think the way things are right now, we're going to have to consider hiring freezes, expense freezes, and reevaluate a whole bunch of stuff right now that we are going forward with. We don't know if we can go forward the same as somebody just mentioned. Are we going to go open the pool this summer? I think we should restrict what we spend and reevaluate what we should be spending.
well, we just got $3 million tonight. But yeah, I hear you.
I think as we move forward, these restrictions and how long they are will dictate how we go forward. I mean, we're not hiring anybody. We're not hiring pool people now if there's no expectation of the pool being opened, or if there is later in the summer, then we would do that then. The decisions of the health officer and how they roll out lessening restrictions will, if these stay in place for the next 4 months, we'll be a very quiet community as far as our facilities and operating and the staffing and things like that.
Yes, I think that's stuff we're going to have to be continuously revolving around, because I don't think I think normal isn't anymore. So I think we have to be ready to bounce around and not do things and do things. But I'm basically it starts from insulating the pool. I think we need to move that forward because it will save us money over the 3 to 5 year plan.
Mhm. And as you say, there might be other places we can be applying besides ISIP. There might be the Arctic Energy Alliance as well. So perhaps that is something that may change. Certainly seems like a priority.
We are still actively looking at trying to reduce costs on that, and we're exploring that. So we have staff looking at that. We don't have anything definitive at this point. But what we have at this, all we have at this point is the one quote. And, you know, if we get some real good downward movement, we'll be back at the table.
Okay. Any other questions? I just had one comment. I had heard that perhaps we might be looking at a new ambulance at some time in the near future. Was that
It's not been
something?
brought up on the radar as far as capital planning.
Okay,
Nothing yet, anyway.
okay. Any other questions? All right, can I get a mover and a seconder for this motion that council approve the updated 5-year capital plan in the amount of $12,826,511? Can I get a mover?
Corey will move that.
Okay, Councillor Bellefontaine. A seconder.
Clay.
Is that Councillor
So,
Morrow.
more.
Councillor Morrow? Okay, sorry. All right, so just to read that then, moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that council approve the updated 5-year capital plan in the amount of $12,826,511. And Deputy Mayor, your vote?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Morrow?
Yes.
Councillor Rowe?
Yeah.
Councillor McPherson?
Yes.
Councillor Lafferty?
Yes.
Councillor Grote?
No.
No? Okay. Councillor Hassan?
Yes.
Councillor Bellefontaine?
Yes.
Okay, so that 7 for, 1 against. Motion is carried though, and so we'll approve our 5-year plan. And now, moving along to 11D, risk pay, Councillor Hassan's issue he put on. Just keep in mind that if we get into too much detail on this, we're going to have to take it in camera. If you keep it very general, I think we can just discuss it in the public. So go ahead, Councillor. Oh, maybe I'll just take a note here from our SAO.
I just want to make some general comments on the topic. One of the things that the Northern Workers Union has been active is in wanting to have a level of comfort that their employees are not being negatively impacted by this. And so they've written to the communities in the north asking certain questions. That specific question has not been part of their ask, and what we're asking to consider is benefits that exist outside of the existing collective agreement. And I will leave it there.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Hassan.
You know, as the issue is kind of like delicate, I believe it's good if we can discuss it in camera. I don't have any problem.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. We can move it to in camera.
Well, then why don't we push it past the council matters and concerns into in camera, and we'll be basically turning the camera off at that time. Have this discussion.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
I'll agree.
Yeah.
It's good with me.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, hold on. We won't turn off the camera just yet because we still have council matters and concerns to go through, and we'll do that, and then we'll basically convene to in camera. Deputy Deputy Mayor, did you have any council concerns?
I just brought, just the ferry operations for everybody. That's the
Okay.
thing you had answered that question already. No,
Okay,
I don't have any questions. Thank you very much.
thank you. Councillor Morrow.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, Councillor Rowe.
Couple things. One was went out walking the other day, and I noticed the sidewalks get kind of slushy, getting tough if you have to push something. Now I have to push something. Can we get the sidewalk sweeper out? And just is there any reason why the only time it comes out is when a councillor requests it? Every other time we see the loaders and the backhoes on there. I don't think we really understand how much damage we're doing to our sidewalks when we have a perfectly good piece of equipment. So if we can get the sidewalk sweeper out there, the snow's nice and, it's getting kind of to the point where it can just shuck off there, and we'll all be happy. The other thing is, I noticed that the rec center staff, I think for the most part, is still at the rec center. Is there any way to get a report on what's going on there, what we have planned, ways of are we doing a deep clean of the rec center, pool areas? This is the perfect time for us to really go through and dust all the cobwebs out of all of our buildings while we have no public in there. So if there was a report to council, I know a couple people had asked, what are they doing? So if we can get something like that.
I'll get Andre to prepare a report and we'll circulate it to council.
Yeah, and like I said, it's perfect time to take on any little beautification projects. We're supposed to be maintaining distance. If you want to put a coat of paint on something, it seems like the perfect time to do it.
Okay,
Already happening.
Perfect. That's exactly what we want to hear. Thank you.
Good.
okay. That's it, Councillor Rowe?
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McPherson.
I don't have anything at this point.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Lafferty.
I want to know if the highway road is closed. I was told today by someone that it's closed.
To BC
No, just,
at the ferry?
the ferry road.
Not as far as I know. I was there yesterday. It hasn't started melting at all, really.
No, it wasn't because of the melt. It was because of the COVID. I heard it was closed.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Councillor Grote.
Hey, what I have. I agree with Councillor Rowe on staff should be, the rec center should be spotless because there's lots of time and lots of space, so we shouldn't have to have the close people. Once again, and I hope it's the last time the grader is on Antoine Drive, they're scraping 2 inches off on one side, and the blade is in the chip seal in the middle. It doesn't need graded, there's no snow there, and all they're doing is knocking the chips off. I'm sorry for being a broken record on this, but I saw it today, and if you drive down Antoine, you cannot see what they've done for grader ridges, an inch on the side. It's ridiculous. And I'm such a broken record on this, but that's what I'm saying. Let's put a freeze on doing stuff. Let's just stop because it makes no sense.
Okay.
My other point is, as a Chamber of Commerce person, the local businesses that the village has been wanting to try and avoid working with are not likely getting paid much right now. I suspect that all government employees, CNWC, village, federal, Ben, Nate are all going to get paid. The poor little guys that the village chooses not to support are the only guys who do not have the guaranteed income. So I'd like you to keep that in mind now, councillors, is that that's something that's a big deal in our community, that those guys aren't getting any money. If we're not working, they're not getting anything. So I'd like that in mind. And I have one question. Is the bylaw truck with no brakes in town, or is it, what's with it?
It's off the road right now.
Okay, what is the plan for that truck?
It's being serviced.
By who?
We had it to one location, and
What location?
we had it to PR,
Okay,
and it came out of PR.
why?
We are going to service it ourselves.
Who is ourselves?
I expect we'll get another contractor to do to put those brake lines on. We bought the brake lines.
Okay, so they are certified mechanics?
I would say yes.
You would say yes or
Yeah.
yes?
I'm not going to get into this debate here
Why not?
because I'd rather have the debate or the discussion with you one-on-one.
This is council we're talking about. We are the people that are running this town. Why would you want to talk to me personally and not the other 7 councillors?
Because again, we are leading a discussion and a point towards criticism, and I don't want to go there. We have competent staff that are making decisions, and operationally they will make them, and they will continue to make them. Where they get their trucks service is their operational decision, and I support that. And so I don't always think it's productive to keep going down this road.
Okay, but we heard your concerns there, Councillor Grote, anyway, and, I'm sure it's taken into account.
Is this truck going to be certified as roadworthy after the brakes are changed?
I have every expectation that it will be.
So yes is the answer?
I have every expectation that it will be.
So yes is your answer.
You are saying that. You're putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
Okay, so no is the answer.
Well, no.
You're putting words again in my mouth. I never said that.
So maybe is the answer.
Well,
There,
I'm done.
okay. All right, Councillor Hassan.
I don't think I have anything other than I just noticed that the community members, or most of the community members, are really cautious about what's going on about this virus, the COVID-19. And I noticed that in the northern, in the Unity store, and they are really following the protocol on using the hand sanitizers when they are getting in, and they keep really good social distancing. So I just want to mention that, and hopefully we're gonna pass this disaster free of any problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Bellefontaine.
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, with that, I'm going to need a motion to go in camera. I could just do it on the back of the page here.
Oh, move it.
Who's going to move it?
Hassan.
Okay, a seconder.
Liza,
Okay, Councillor McPherson, seconds, and I'll write it out. The motion to read to move to in-camera at, what time have we got here?
8:07.
At 8:07 PM. And I'll do the roll call. Councillor or Deputy Mayor Antoine.
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Morrow.
Yes.
Councillor Rowe.
Yeah.
Councillor McPherson.
Yes.
Councillor Lafferty.
Yes.
Councillor Grote.
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Hassan.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, Councillor Belfontaine.
Yes.
All right, that's 8 to go in camera, none against. So we will now turn off the camera here and we'll have